Dog Show is brought to you by Melwood Springs. Melwood Springs from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Georgia.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Yocklin. Welcome to the Gym Dog Show. Joining me today is Associate Head Coach Jay Clark, and we're bringing you the results of the #1 versus #2 competition held this past weekend in Stegeman Coliseum. It was the University of Florida coming into Athens to compete against #2 University of Georgia. And wow, what a meet it was. As you would expect, #1 versus #2 was going to be a close meet. We knew that it would come down to tenths. We knew that it would come down to stuck landings and execution, and that's exactly what happened. It was just terrific, and in front of a sellout crowd of over 10,000 folks. What do you think about the meet, Jay?
Well, absolutely. A record crowd of 10,224, maximum capacity of the newly configured Stegeman Coliseum for gymnastics. And it was just a very vocal crowd, a very, very enthusiastic crowd. We had a great time in terms of the atmosphere. The meet did not disappoint in terms of the spectators' point of view, and I'm sure that they felt like they got their money's worth when they left the arena. We feel like we've got some room to improve overall, and I think we'll point out a few of those mistakes in today's show.
This competition was for breast cancer awareness, and it was called Think Pink, and the entire arena was pink and supporting the cause, with donations going to the Athens Regional Medical Center.
Katie Heenan up next on vaulting for us. Katie gets her season high here. I think it matches her career high. A little hop there on the landing, but a huge Yurchenko full. You can see she gets great repulsion off the table here. Legs are together. Lands pretty straight body and just has that slight hop there and goes 9.95.
This is Melanie Sinclair. Melanie was a redshirt gymnast at Florida last year because of a torn ACL. Big Tkachev on the high bar. She's hitting her handstand. She's very aggressive on this event. Nice giant full pirouette to immediate Ginger release. Good form so far. I don't see any breaks in form. All of her handstands are to vertical. Nice bail to handstand on the low bar, so she's showing a variety of release skills. Nice handstand before the dismount. And she gets ready for her dismount, which is a double layout. And that's how you stick a dismount. And she scores a 9.95. Beautiful bar routine from Melanie Sinclair.
And anchoring us, as always, on vault, Tiffany Tolnay with a beautiful Yurchenko 1.5 there. Just a small step there on the landing.
Oh.
Otherwise, just an incredible vault. Watch the rise off this. She almost goes out of the screen on this vault and then nails the landing just with that slight little hop, 9.95. I definitely think she's got the potential to go 10 on this event.
After one rotation, Georgia leads 49.45 to Florida's 49.4. And this is Nikki Childs up on the uneven bar. She starts out for Georgia. We have her in this position because of her nice line and handstand work and toe point. She typically executes very well. Here's her release, high above the bar, just like it should be done. Now in her handstand pirouettes and her handstand turns, she needs to be on top of the bar. And right here, she's a little bit over and past vertical when she makes that hand change. And so far, a clean routine from Nikki. Another handstand to the top of the bars. Here's her giant full pirouette, a little bit late and crooked on the turn, and a high dismount with a step on the landing and a score of 9.8.
Katie Rue for Florida on vault. Katie's from Maryland. She's a senior on this team. A little short there on the landing, but somehow is able to stick it. You can see that her chest was down just a little bit. She went 9.9 on that vault.
And this is Grace Taylor, a freshman who is just really gaining a lot of confidence. She's doing better and better every week. You can see some nice combination work here in turns and stalder work right here on the low bar, a back stalder. Immediate sit up to the high bar. She just really swings well. There's her signature move, her Comaneci. She's hitting all of her handstands, and Grace does a double layout dismount. And here it comes. Nice and high, straight body, and a great stuck landing for a score of 9.925. Great routine for Grace.
Brianne King on vault for Florida. She's a junior from Vancouver, British Columbia. She does a nice Yurchenko full. Again, a pike down on the landing. Chest is down a little low, but a very good controlled landing, 9.875.
This is Tiffany Tolnay on bars. Tiffany has really come on strong on this event. And actually in the all-around, she is just looking great on every single one of her events. Look at that Jaeger. It's way above the high bar. Nice handstands from Tiffany all the time. Beautiful body position. Here she does a soul circle. Oh, a little too much adrenaline there and has to repeat that skill. That's about a 10.5 deduction right there. But she's keeping her concentration and her focus. Nice giant full. A little crooked there on the giant full. And then she gets ready to dismount and takes a hop. But she's stuck with it for a score of 9.725.
Melanie Sinclair, the redshirt freshman for the Florida Gators. She does a huge Yurchenko full, big step. Again, you can see the repulsion. She gets off the table, almost leaves the screen, 9.875.
And here's Katie Heenan on bars, another one of our stalwarts. You can just count on Katie. She does the same thing every time. Every handstand is to vertical. Beautiful high Jaeger way above the bar. There is nothing you can take off in this routine because she hits every position exactly the way you're supposed to do it into the vertical. Nice toe point, straight legs all the way through. I do not have a deduction. She's getting ready to dismount right here. Here's a giant with a half turn to an immediate double tuck front and a small step on the dismount. She scores a 9.875. I think it actually could be a little higher because that step was very small.
Ashley Reed on vault. This is another one from Orlando Metro in Florida. She's a junior. She goes a Yurchenko 1.5 and goes 9.9 with a little hop there on the landing, but otherwise a great ball.
And here's Courtney Kupats with a brand new bar routine this year, and it is so difficult that she's still trying to work out all the kinks. Here goes her ray on the high bar. It's a toe-on, toe-off release, and she knocks that out. Good shoot over to the low bar. No deductions so far. Right here, nice handstand, immediate hop full on the high bar to vertical, immediate Tkachev way up in the air. She's got 5 release moves in this routine. There's a short handstand, which would be a deduction for Courtney, right there, and double layout dismount. For a little teeny hop, they probably took an 0.5 on the hop on the landing and a score of 9.9. After 2 rotations, Florida leads 98.8 to Georgia's 98.675.
The Gym Dog Show is brought to you by Melwood Springs. Melwood Springs from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Georgia. By Makar Homes. Makar Homes, built with passion for over 50 years. Brown Arrowhead Clinic. Arrowhead Clinic, Georgia's largest spinal health care organization. By Athens Regional Medical Center. At Athens Regional, we have a specialty. You. By the John Bull Stores of the Bahamas. John Bull, the shopping mecca of the Caribbean. And by Phil Hughes Honda. Phil Hughes Honda, the official car dealer of the Georgia Gym Dogs.
One look and you'll be captivated. The all-new Honda CR-V. Everything has been redesigned from the exterior to the amenity-rich interior. Indulge your senses with elements like leather, navigation, an updated engine with better power, gas mileage, and cleaner emissions. Drive with confidence. It's also been awarded the top safety pick for its class. The Honda CR-V. It's the SUV you've been craving. Visit Phil Hughes Honda on the Atlanta Highway, Athens.
Makar Homes is proud to announce its 50th anniversary. With passion for quality, Makar is committed to customer satisfaction before, during, and after building your home. With over 40 communities around Atlanta, Makar has a plan and neighborhood for any lifestyle, from affordable townhomes to luxurious estates. For more information, visit www.makarhomes.com. Makar Homes, built with passion for over 50 years.
Ask Suzanne, brought to you by Makar Homes. And this week's question is, when do you expect Courtney Kupats to be back competing on all 4 events? And the answer is, we are planning and pushing for the University of Alabama meet in 2 weeks. That's when we'll have Courtney back. That's Ask Suzanne, brought to you by Makar Homes.
Well, after 2 rotations, it's a very, very tight meet. We're down by a little better than a tenth, but the good news is we're headed to balance beam, which is a great event for us, possibly our strongest event in terms of our personnel this year, Suzanne. We're headed over to beam. We've got 2 events left. It's halftime, so to speak. And what do you tell the team going into the second half of the meet?
Well, you know, Jay, we've talked about this all week, that if we could be close to Florida and we could be, you know, within a tenth after the first 2 rotations, that going to beam would really determine the meet, not just because we're strong on beam, but also because Florida is such a strong team on floor exercise. And if we can finish this rotation and still be close or even be ahead by a little bit, that'll be a real plus for us. Beam is a great event for us. We have a lot of confidence on this event. We're without Kelsey Erickson. Actually, we were without her on every single event because of an injury to her foot. And she normally was our leadoff on beam, but Grace Taylor has stepped into this position the last 2 weeks and has just done a great job. So our leadoff person is solid and confident, and we've got just a tremendous lineup right behind Grace. So let's take a look and see what happens on beam and floor exercise for Florida.
We're headed over the beam now, and Grace Taylor's going to get us started. Grace has really turned out to be an unbelievable beam worker for us so far this year. As a freshman, there's a one-arm flip-flop to a back layout, back pike combination there. You can see she had a major balance check there. There's her leap series. Full turn with the leg at horizontal, very difficult skill, and you can see she has a balance check there to a standing layout. So there's 2 balance checks so far. Front aerial, another D salto, which is something that you really need to have later in the year to separate the more difficult routines. And then a pretty good flip-flop, double full. She pikes down just a little bit, but controls the landing pretty well, 9.8.
This is Savannah Evans for Florida on floor exercise, a front double tuck, and you rarely see that skill. She does it very nice with her legs together throughout. Here comes Savannah's middle tumbling pass, 1.5 twist to a front full, a small deduction there where she crosses over on her landing. And her last tumbling pass, a double tuck, a pretty big lunge there on the landing, but overall a nice routine for Savannah and a score of only 9.825.
This is Nikki Childs on the balance beam. Nikki has become a fixture on this event for us in her career here at Georgia. Again, her beautiful line is just exquisite. Flip-flop layout for her series there. She comes back. Her switch ring there, that is an E-level skill. Very difficult. You see the head release and go back, and that's what makes it so difficult because the landing is blind. There's the signature moonwalk that we've grown so accustomed to seeing. Wolf jump to a double stag ring. That's another bonus combination there. Shows a hitch kick to a front aerial, a little bit of a balance check on that, and then the gainer pike off the end of the beam. Pretty good landing there. 9.85 is Nikki's score.
Over to floor exercise, and Amanda Castillo of Florida, freshman. Piked full in. Wow, nice. Her legs were together, which you rarely see on that skill. Middle tumbling pass, whip to an immediate double tuck. Again, a nice landing. This is a strong gymnast, and she really looks good here. Ends with a double pike, solid landing there too. Great floor routine from Amanda, and again a score of 9.85, a little low there from Florida.
Courtney McCool coming up on the balance beam. Her signature mount there, the McCool front handspring. Flip-flop layout series, done very, very well. Courtney's gone 9.9 for us once on this event so far this year. You see the sheep jump there. There was a slight balance check at the end of the sheep jump. Another balance check after a switch leap. Full turn, done very well. And then she winds up with her dismount, round off double full. Little step there on the landing. 9.825 is her score.
Here's Corey Hartung. She opens with a triple twist. Just a little short, not even quarter of a tenth at the most. Overall, pretty good. Middle pass, front double full, and she steps to the side there, so that would be a deduction on her landing. And her last tumbling pass, whip, immediate double full, piked in just a little bit, so a small deduction on the last pass, and she scores a 9.825.
Courtney Kupets up on the balance beam, and this is another great routine coming up here from Courtney. She had the one time where she's stumbled on this event, but what an incredibly consistent performer she's been since the day she got to Georgia. And this is by far Courtney's best event this year in terms of her consistency. There's a switch side from a hitch kick there. Switch leap to a gainer, standing gainer layout. Very difficult move. For a lot of her bonuses spread out through the routine. And then we take the double back out and do the gainer full so that she can stick the landing and protect that foot. 9.95, what a beautiful routine. You can see the crowd is going nuts. They're looking for the 10. Those are the parents up there going nuts.
This is Melanie Sinclair. What another strong athlete Florida has. A beautiful double Arabian. Small step forward, maybe a half a tenth at the most. Middle pass, whip to double full. That's a C with combination. And her last tumbling pass is a double pike. Very strong by Melanie. Coming back off a torn ACL, 9.875.
And Katie Heenan, our anchor on this event, and she's the anchor for a reason. We know we can depend on Katie time in and time out. She has just been a model of consistency since she was a freshman. Flip-flop layout, a small balance check on that series. You see that sheep jump again, a little bit of a balance check. Perhaps the nerves of the tight meet getting to her just a bit. A balance check there on the punch front. Katie struggled with that a couple of days prior to this meet and then had a great dismount there. Nails the landing and salvages a 9.9. And we need it because we're going to the final event with a half a tenth lead.
Hi, my name's Lauren Cressa. So Grace, what was it like to run out for the first time?
I don't think I thought about what was going to happen once I stepped out of the gate. I was just, here and now, so excited. And then when I ran out and I saw the people and the fireworks, I don't even have words to explain it. It was breathtaking, and you only get one of those. And so I'm glad it was so amazing.
You've been injured in a car crash. You won't get the money you deserve if your injuries haven't been properly treated and, most important, documented. At Arrowhead Clinics, we've been treating and documenting the injuries of car accident victims for years. We are the experts, and we provide the best treatment and documentation available for your injuries. It's already been several hours since your accident. Don't delay. Your injuries must be properly documented. So make the call now, because the first thing you need to do is get treatment. Arrowhead is the leader.
Drop by drop. A trickle becomes a stream, flowing from the source, refreshing, fresh, in the store or at your door. Millwood Springs.
Welcome back. Well, the competition is exactly like we thought it would be. Very, very close, but it's shifted just a little bit. We've got the lead, just a half a tenth. We're headed over to floor exercise, which is great to be when you're at home and you've got over 10,000 fans pulling for you and cheering for you. Florida's headed to balance beam. It's a close one. What do you think, Jay?
Well, it's going to come down to the wire, obviously. You know, to have our beam outscore what they did on floor is a true testament to our team's ability on that event. I tell you, the key now is, though, we're going to floor, which is temporarily a weak event for us right now, and we've gotten a little bit of a slow start on that event this year, but you can start to feel that the team's gaining confidence, particularly some people like Grace Taylor have really begun to step up and show that they've got a lot of confidence building on that event. It should be interesting. Let's take a look at the highlights of floor for us and balance beam for the Gators.
Starting out on floor exercise for Georgia, Abby Stack. It's great to have her back in the lineup. She is so strong. There's a pike to pull in. Nicely done right there at the beginning. Her middle tumbling pass is a double twist to a punch front, a new pass for Abby this year. And again, a nice middle pass with some bonus. And last pass, a double pike. Nice and clean. A good routine for Abby.
Brianne King over on balance beam for the Florida Gators. See her unusual series here. A little bit of a bent leg on that front aerial, and then a balance check on her side summy, switch leap to a straddle jump for her leap series. Another front area on that lead leg still looks bent to me. There's a back handspring by itself. I guess that satisfies her backward element. And then a round off double full done very well. 9.875 on that routine.
Here's Grace Taylor, and boy, she has come on strong on this event for Georgia. Look at that beautiful opening pass. She just tumbles like she has so much confidence right now. She's our little tiger. Strong middle pass, and again, her presentation just really sells it. Pretty big step on the middle pass, and a crossover at the end, and that's a big deduction when you do that 2.5 and crossover, and that's the reason for the 9.825.
Corey Hartung on the balance beam for the Gators. Another front arrow. You're seeing that skill become more and more prevalent. It's a D-level skill, and you need to have a forward D salto really to separate yourselves. A little bit of a knee issue on the flip-flop layout there. Again, a little bit of an unsteady balance check. Not sure the amplitude on that switch leap was where it needs to be before that swing down. And then a round off 2.5, very well done. 9.875 on that routine.
And here's Courtney McCool. 2.5 front full and lands out of bounds. What a shame, because it's beautiful. But she did land out of bounds on that pass. Middle pass is a C. It's a double twist. It's an easy middle pass, but it does fulfill the requirement. Last pass is a front double full. It's a small landing deduction, actually pretty big, probably a 1/10 deduction there at the end, and she scores only a 9.725 after you take the out-of-bounds deduction.
Ashley Reed on the balance beam, one of the 4 Orlando Metro kids. Switch leap to a back handspring, and then a flip-flop layout for her series. Fulfills the full turn there, a little bit of a balance check there. Pretty good split quarter, 3/4, excuse me. And then a gainer layout there to get some combination bonus. And she finishes up with a good double full, 9.9, pretty solid routine there.
This meet is close, and here comes Katie Heenan. She's our bull. She opens up with a beautiful first pass, no deduction at all. Again, just so much confidence. You can see it on her face. Her middle pass, a front full to a front with a half, which is C, combination bonus. Again, no deductions at all. Very nice routine. And her last pass, a double pike, nice and high. A little short on the landing, but a great score of 9.925. I think the judges and the crowd really love that routine.
Amanda Castillo over on the balance beam, and Amanda is one of the best beam workers in the nation. And on this day, she has a little bit of an issue there. Right there on her series, she has a flip-flop layout 2-foot that she comes in very short on and falls.
So now it's Tiffany Tolnay, and she needs a 9.95 for the win for Georgia. A little bit short right there in the first pass, just a tiny step back. That could be the half a tenth deduction that's going to keep her from scoring the 9.95. I'm not sure, but you could take a deduction there if you wanted to. Her middle pass, front full to front full, nice rise, beautiful tumbling pass, nice and strong. And Tiffany gets ready for her last pass, which is a double pike. Very high, opens on the landing, a nice routine for 9.925, which brings the total to a tie, and Georgia's score of 197.25 ties Florida's score of 197.25. Who would have thought number 1 versus number 2? Routine of the Week, brought to you by Athens Regional Medical Center, and this week's routine is Tiffany Tolnay, a sophomore, on the floor exercise, where she scored a 9.925 to give the Gym Dogs a tie against number 1 Florida. That's Tiffany Tolnay, and that's Routine of the Week, brought to you by Athens Regional Medical Center.
I'm sorry, honey. I know it hurts. Oh, x-rays, they don't hurt at all. It's like a magic eye that looks inside of your body to see if anything's broken. This is where Hannah came to get her stitches out last year, remember? Of course, honey, Mommy will be with you the whole time. And remember, Mommy wouldn't take you here if it wasn't the best place in the whole world.
Athens Regional Medical Center, a passion for medical excellence.
Drop by drop. A trickle becomes a stream, flowing from the source. Refreshing, fresh, in the store or at your door. Millwood Springs.
Countdown to the NC2As brought to you by Millwood Springs. And again, this week, Florida stays in the top spot while we stay in the number 2 spot. Utah's 3rd, with Alabama moving up to 4th. And rounding out the top 10 is Auburn, the 4th SEC team in the top 10. And that's Countdown to the NC2As brought to you by Millwood Springs.
Well, there you have it. It's a tie. When does that ever happen? But 2 big scores for both teams. Great road score for Florida, great home score for us. We had some struggles there on floor exercise, but wow, Florida, they really kept their poise and confidence going on balance beam. You could see that they were, very solid, and they wanted this win, and we fought for every 10th as well.
Right, absolutely. You've got to give Florida an awful lot of credit in this meet. They've showed a different level of confidence, a different level of skill level. It's not the same Florida Gators that we've seen in the past. To their credit, they're doing a great job. Also, though, you also have to look at us, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say we're not at full strength, and we still have got some places that we can improve on. We feel very confident going down the stretch of what our team's capable of doing, and we're not laying down and dying for anybody just yet.
Absolutely not. Our team is strong. We're deep. We have the confidence building. It's just a different path this year getting to the NC2As, and when we get Kelsey Erickson back and Courtney Kupets going strong in every event, build the confidence of Courtney McCool, our team's going to definitely be a contender at the end of the season. We'll see you next week with the results from Georgia versus LSU.
The Gym Dog Show has been brought to you by Millwood Springs. Millwood Springs from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Georgia. By Makar Homes. Makar Homes, built with passion for over 50 years. Brown Arrowhead Clinic. Arrowhead Clinic, Georgia's largest spinal health care organization. By Athens Regional Medical Center. At Athens Regional, we have a specialty. You. By the John Bull Stores of the Bahamas. John Bull, the shopping mecca of the Caribbean. And by Phil Hughes Honda. Phil Hughes Honda, the official car dealer of the Georgia Gym Dogs.